Okay, so today we're diving deep, really deep, all the way back.
Back to the beginning.
To the beginning, yeah, Genesis 1 through 3.
The OG stories.
Yeah, and I think we've got some really cool excerpts here.
Yeah.
From some analyses of these chapters.
Some insightful stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what we uncover, because these are the big foundational stories.
Yeah.
Creation, humanity's purpose.
Oh yeah, can't forget that.
The whole forbidden fruit thing.
Right. Where do we even begin?
Where do you even begin with something so impactful?
Well, I think what's interesting about these chapters is that they're deceptively simple, right?
Yeah.
I mean, on the surface, pretty straightforward narratives.
Yeah.
But they're considered like the cornerstone of Western thought and religion for a reason. So
there's some depth there.
There's a lot more to explore, I think.
For sure.
Than just the surface.
Let's start at the very beginning, Genesis 1, where it all begins. Creation.
Blood.
The world. It's pretty amazing how God just speaks everything into existence.
It's efficient.
Right. Light, darkness.
Sky,
land, sea.
Creatures.
All the creatures.
Uh-huh.
And then finally humans.
The grand finale.
They're like the grand finale.
Ta-da!
Right. Made in God's image.
Made in God's image. There you go.
What does that even mean?
Oh, that's the question, isn't it?
Right.
Been debated for centuries.
What does it mean to be made in God's image?
Yeah, I mean, some scholars point to our capacity for reason.
Okay.
Our creativity.
Yeah.
Mirroring God's own attributes.
Uh-huh.
Other people see it as this sign of our unique role as stewards of creation.
Okay.
We're tasked with caring for the earth as God would.
Yeah. It's a
big giant.
It's a huge responsibility.
Huge.
Right. To be made in God's image.
For sure.
And that kind of leads us right into Genesis 2.
Okay.
Where we get a closer look at the creation of Adam and Eve.
All right. The dynamic duo.
Right. Adam's formed from dust.
From the earth.
Eve from his rib.
The rib.
And God breathes life into Adam.
That breath of life, right?
It feels so intimate and intentional.
Yeah, very intentional.
I don't know.
Very personal.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like that choice of the rib for Eve's creation.
Yeah.
I mean, it suggests this sense of equality and interconnectedness between man and woman.
Right.
Like coming from a place close to the heart.
Right. Not like the foot or something.
Not a superior or inferior part of the body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not about a hierarchy.
No, not at all.
And then comes Genesis 3. Oh boy, here we go.
Things take a turn.
The dramatic turn.
A little bit of a dramatic turn.
Yeah.
We meet the serpent.
That serpent.
And the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Of course, the forbidden tree.
The forbidden fruit.
Yeah.
And the serpent tempts Eve, right?
With the promise. With the promise of
becoming like God.
Like by knowing good and evil.
That's a pretty powerful temptation.
Who wouldn't want to be like God?
Right. I mean, come on.
That's the ultimate.
It really is. And, the serpent's tactic is brilliant, right?
Yeah.
Like he plays on Eve's natural curiosity, her desire for knowledge.
Uh-huh.
And he kind of twists this idea of knowledge, implying that true power lies in knowing both good and evil.
Okay.
Not just in obedience to God.
Right. So it's not just about what God says.
It's about knowing everything.
It's about knowing all of it.
Yeah, it kind of raises questions about the nature of wisdom itself.
Yeah, what is wisdom?
Exactly.
And, well, we all know what happens next, right?
Oh, yeah, here comes the fall.
They eat the fruit.
They take a bite.
And everything changes.
Everything changes.
Their eyes are open. They realize their nakedness.
And shame comes flooding in.
Shame floods in, yeah.
That feeling when you realize you've messed up.
Big time.
Big time. And it's like that moment when you realize you've done something wrong and your relationship with someone you love is just fractured.
It's broken.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
And that's exactly what happens.
That's what happens, yeah.
Their perfect relationship with God, it's broken.
Severed.
They're banished from Eden.
Out of the garden.
And that introduces, this concept of sin and suffering into the world.
Right. That wasn't there before.
It wasn't there before.
This is a whole new ballgame.
Right.
But, even in punishment, God offers this glimmer of hope.
Okay.
This idea of eventual restoration.
Okay. So there's
not the end.
It's not the end. There's still hope.
It's not a hopeless situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about our own struggles, right?
Absolutely.
With temptation.
All the time.
All the time.
Every day.
Those forbidden fruits in our own lives.
Yeah, those things that look so good.
The things that promise us, knowledge or power.
Pleasure. Right.
How do we...
A quick fix.
Yeah,
How do we navigate that?
How do we navigate those choices? What are the consequences?
Right. What are the consequences? Not just for us.
Not just for us, but
for the world around us.
for the world around us, yeah.
It's a big question.
And Genesis 3, kind of introduces this concept of free will.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's huge.
And it's like a gift and a burden.
It really is, right? Like, we have this ability to choose.
We get to choose.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
But we're also responsible for those choices.
But those choices have consequences.
Consequences, yeah, that's the burden part.
Right. And that's a theme that continues to resonate today.
Oh, absolutely. Especially, think about all these complex ethical dilemmas we face in our modern world.
Especially now.
I mean, with technology and...
Technology, just, it gives us access to so much.
It's incredible.
Incredible knowledge and power.
Yeah, but it also raises questions about...
our limits.
Our limits, right?
Where's the line?
Where do we draw the line? What are the potential consequences of our actions?
It's scary.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
And Genesis 1 through 3, they grapple with these huge, timeless questions, right?
Oh, yeah. Good and evil, the pursuit of knowledge.
Good, evil.
The limits of our autonomy.
The limits of what we can do.
Yeah, these questions are just as relevant today.
As they were thousands of years ago.
Thousands of years ago, absolutely.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
okay,
what are the key takeaways here?
Well, let's see. We've got the wonder of creation.
The wonder of creation.
That's a big one, right?
That's a big one.
This incredible responsibility of being made in God's image.
That's huge.
That's huge, yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
It is, right? The gift and burden of free will.
The gift and burden.
Yeah, we have the choice, but...
The consequences.
The consequences.
Right, both good and bad.
Both good and bad, exactly.
And maybe the biggest takeaway...
I think you're right.
...is just this. The enduring relevance.
The enduring relevance of these stories.
They're
not just ancient myths,
Yeah.
They invite us to reflect on our own lives.
On our own choices.
Our choices, our relationship with the divine.
However we understand that.
Exactly.
That's a great point.
Yeah, it's something to really ponder.
Yeah, it leaves us with a lot to think about.
A lot to think about, for sure.
Imagine yourself, right?
Oh, imagine.
In the Garden
of Eden.
Faced with that forbidden fruit.
That juicy fruit.
What choice would you make?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
How would your understanding of being like God...
Being like God, yeah.
...influence that decision?
It's a good question. It really makes you think.
We hope this deep dive has sparked some serious reflection for you.
We do. We hope it's got those wheels turning.
Keep exploring. Keep questioning.
Keep diving deep.
Keep those deep dives going.
Absolutely. Until next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.